it right now, and it looks like FM are really gunning for that final position.
They really are, and my hopes and dreams have been completely dashed as Maokai gets locked into that top lane. I always remain hopeful. Nothing too crazy though, as we see everything being locked in.
I wasn't going to tell you, but Max Law is a fairly prominent League C player.
Yes, he is. I knew it, but you know, you can never keep. You know, you need to keep your spirit up, unfortunately. But Graves is an interesting pick, I find, and I find it a very good pick into a Sona for the fact that he's got a lot of burst. So if a hook lands on either Samwise or Billy Fufu, he's got a lot of burst to kind of bring into that fight.
Not only that, if he can keep his passive up, he'll be negating a moderate proportion of damage coming out from the power chords and the poke coming out from Billy Fufu, as well as the magic damage coming out from Samwise. Corki actually does fairly well against Graves, has a little bit more ease of access in terms of getting that phosphorus bomb poke down. Obviously then he can shred through the armor if he's got that Gatling gun going on, so it kind of semi-negates the passive coming out from Graves. Most people would say they're fairly confident picking a Corki into a Graves lane. But on the other hand, you do have a good set of mixed resistances in the Graves backline. Obviously has that passive, gets those mixed resistances up. Going up against a mixed damage carry like Corki, pretty good. Yeah,
pretty good. And I think that the objective won't... I don't think Corki will be the target, even though he shouldn't inherently be in the laning phase, because you have got an exceptionally squishy Sona. Yeah. Billy Fufu is on possibly his most successful champion of the Four Nations.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Hado, you have to respect those hooks.
Yeah, I mean, Hado hasn't brought out his Thresh for a little while, but every time he does, I'm always screaming, that hook! You know, he's really, really good at making the plays when you need to do it, and I'm expecting him to go aggressive and try and get that lane aggression, make sure he has the threat of the hook in his backline pocket, because like you said, sometimes the threat is scarier than the actual thing itself.
Exactly, and that works out for both Thresh, Blitzcrank, and maybe even a crescendo for Sona, who knows, but that flash crescendo is a huge thing as well. We are just jumping onto Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. It is game 2 of this second series, semi-final of the Four Nations Riot Games tournament with Rift versus FM eSports. Winner, if FM win this, they will be joining Choke in that final, but let's see if Rift can spoil the party.
Yeah, I think Rift have got something to say about that as it comes down to it. They are a very, very good team. They definitely got what it takes to beat out FM. They've done it before in the past. They definitely have the skill and the talent individually, but obviously haven't seen it just yet, with FM really dominating that last game, essentially from the very second Dragon.
Yeah, and I think once... Like, it was a very interesting tug of war between FM and Rift in that last game. We'll only touch on it very briefly as we are in the current game, but it was like once FM got a good grip, they just completely dripped off.
I need to talk about these junglers right now, because again, another early pressure jungler coming out from Max Law. We know he likes Lee Sin, but he's going up against Dan on that Pantheon again. Now, are we going to see Max Law step up to the plate and try and do a similar kind of thing to Dan? Are we going to see him look to be aggressive in the early game? He wasn't aggressive enough on that Jarvan, and it really didn't pay dividends for his team. Unfortunately, Dan has that in the bag on Pantheon. We know that he's doing, and really, it's going to be a battle of the junglers in this early game.
Yeah, and I've seen it quite a bit in solo queue as well, and actually a bit of ranked 5s, is that you see Lee Sin starting on the same side of the jungle as the other as the opposite jungler, and they just try and just catch them at red buff because they have got the early, you know, kind of early damage. But does that work against Pantheon?
Well, interestingly, obviously you can take that level 2 very early on. Lee Sin has a power spike at level 2 in the sense that you can get a lot of damage down on the board against another level 2 champion, and you'll see that he may even look to do that. Against the Pantheon, doesn't go particularly low in the jungle, but again, probably won't have the kit to deal with an early Lee Sin, depending on what he takes. The dueling potential is there. It's really all going to depend on how they play it and what skills they take. If Lee Sin can get the jump on Pantheon, it's like getting the jump on any jungler taking a red buff. And actually, we're not going to see he is going to take his blue buff. So it's almost irrelevant, the point that I was just making.
Almost irrelevant, but not quite. It's always good to theory craft about this kind of stuff. But yeah, junglers pretty much mirroring, or not mirroring, kind of exactly opposite of the side of the jungle they should be. But I really feel like Lee Sin has to make a play. I feel like Maxwell needs to do, or Max Law, apologies, needs to do a hell of a lot better than he did with the Jarvan. It just didn't work out for him in the last game.
Yeah, exactly. And Dan moving through, they're going to mirror each other. Max Law actually putting a deep ward out, doesn't want Dan to walk through to his jungle. As again, we are just seeing Maokai in the top lane. As going, not too much happening at this point. Again, Tundra and Chunky being very passive in that sense. And in the bot lane, we are just seeing a 2v2 here. Billy and Samwise not being too aggressive. They are afraid of that level 2 hook combo coming out from Hado.
Yeah, and I think that the Hado needs to be making hooks, and it's all on him because he hasn't got a huge amount of engage apart from that hook. You have got Billy Fufu, who has got that shown a crescendo, but it is a level 2. Hado, gonna see if he can get something down. Has got his flay and his hook, so he's got all his CC. Hasn't got the lantern though just yet. Seems to be trying to bait it out a little bit.
Oh, Dan.
Dan coming in though. They actually caught him out. There comes the CC. Hook lands on top of him. Uses the flay on top of Billy Fufu. Dan's going to be jumped on. He's going to be going first blood down, but it's a completely different fight. Sir Scott is still going on top of them. He drops down the smoke bomb, and it's going to be enough to get him away. Great first blood for Perilous Rift.
This is kind of a mirror, exact mirror, of what we saw previously. Tundra in the top lane, however, gonna take a lot of damage, but be safe.
Be safe. No mana on Chunky. And actually needs to be careful because Tundra could actually turn this back right around. He's only got cooldowns. Chunky needs to be careful. He tried to turn around. I'm not quite sure why. It's just going to be getting him back to turret. He should be able to back away, get back to lane. Shouldn't be too hard for him.
Again, we saw a mirror, but this time round, Maxlaw was the first to the area. Previously, we saw Dan have that privilege, made his way to the brush, and they got the jump on Dan. He went down, and it's, Christo taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, Ramil and Christo going toe-to-toe again. Will we see another auto attack race? Not so sure this time. Christo a little bit low on mana. That's going to be more and more pressure coming out. Rift looking to try and see if they can get some more from this. Tundra forced to use the TP back lane, so was Chunky, so it's not going to be too much of a loss for him.
Yeah, and actually Sir Scott picking up that double buff speaks for itself how impactful that could be. Christo.
Oh, it's a max range stun onto Ramil. They're going to combo it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to kill him off. Maybe able to, but here comes Maxlor from the back inside. They're trying to jump back onto Dan. Dan is nowhere going to go. He's going to force the flash. The Q goes back in, but it could be Lee Syndrome. Not going to quite get it though. Q just up. Not quite though. He doesn't want to dive under that turret. They still get away, but flash is burned. Actually,
Maxwell, so much more proactivity coming out from him. He is being aggressive. He's catching the counter ganks. This is what you want to see when he's playing that Lee Sin. And actually, they're going to go in the bot lane.
They're going to go in the bot lane. Sona, actually, Billy Fufu did go in hard. They used the lantern to try and cook up. He forces the flash. There's the flash hook. It's a good one onto Billy Fufu. Hado gets another kill for his team, and Rift have come out of the blocks absolutely flying.
They have turned up the burner right now. And Maxlaw straight out of the gates. He is all over the map and putting pressure down. Completely opposite story from Dan this time round. He is in Maxlaw's shoes. He's the one that's been put behind. Is this going to have an impact on FM the later we go?
I honestly, right now, Dan has to think of a different gang path because clearly Maxlor knows exactly where he's going and when he's going to do it. So they need to try and figure out something else. We see Chunky and Tundra going head to head. Bit of a wet noodle fight though, realistically. They both have sustained. Tundra's just going to go back to farming, but he does force him to go back again. He's trying to get him. Actually, Tundra, you need to be careful. He'll take a few tower hits, and that might bait in Chunky to stay in the lane. Yeah, again, Tundra taking a lot of tower hits there, and obviously using the pool takes a lot of portion of your current health too. Chunky definitely baiting to stay in the lane here. Maybe this is what Tundra wants though. He did look like he had the jump on him in the majority of the trades that they had going on. You have to be careful. He has got the level 6, and Ramel is looking to make an early roam, but the wonderful Rift Scuttler right there doing the job that it does and gives the vision. Maxlor actually pinged that out, so Ramil got told that that ward is there, so they know that they have got vision on that thing, so he might go try up and around the red side jungle, but they need vision for that to work. And actually, the more I see this, the more I do think that Tundra did bait that out, because he's got the sustain. He's Vladimir. He can get as much sustain as long as he can, as we do see him going absolutely hammered, going back up to the top lane. Tundra going to try jump in. He lands the Q though. Flash is over. Good flash by Tundra. Is going to be able to get away. Ramil reacting. Ramil is going to try react, but I don't think Tundra's going to be able to get away from this. He's trying to go around. Going to be caught out. The Q should be enough to get him. That was a bit of a lackluster jump. He dodges out the Q. Nothing else going to happen. I should be able to execute from Tundra. Nothing too crazy. A little bit misplay though from Ramil. He could have possibly caught him out. And look how much time he's wasted. It's allowed FM to go and rotate for this dragon. The hook does land on the dragon there. This is a risky move right now for FM though. Yeah, FM need to be careful. They're taking a little bit of damage. And actually, there comes the lantern. It might have been a little bit of a bait though. Christo finally gets a kill with the right of the arcane on top of Ramil. And they're going to try to jump on Samwise. Sir Scott trying to go again. He misses the hook. Misses the hook completely. And Sir Scott is in a bad stage. But he has to force the flash away. They went back onto the dragon. But there's Maxlor. He jumps on top of it. He's got a smite now as well. But he's stuck in the dragon pit with it aggro. He needs to try to jump on top of something. He jumps back out. He jumps back in. I don't really know. He gets one kill. But that's going to be traded right back. Dragon was the 6th man for both teams in that fight. None of them getting it. But it is absolutely crazy right now. Rift making the right moves. Yeah, no one coming away with the dragon right there. That was so back and forth. Unfortunately, Dan going down means they couldn't capitalize on such a great
turnaround team fight from FM. They definitely brought themselves back up from the early deficit that they had. And again, Chriso102 has started the ball rolling. It's not a good sign for Rift, but they're definitely still in this. They've definitely still got a lot in the bank. But a lot of gold situated on Maxlor. He has to keep the pressure up right now. He has to consistently look to utilize the gold that he's gained and try and get his lanes ahead. Because as a Lee Sin, you're going to fall off. You're going to have less and less of an impact beyond those awesome kicks that you can pull off the later the game goes on.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think Maxlor was listening to Strike there when he said he has to do something more than just 0-0-0-1 at 10 minutes. And he has done that. He's got 3 kills under his belt as well as an assist. A little bit behind on farm though. So he needs to be a little bit careful that he doesn't lose out on XP. But it looks like Rift are trying to angle for this dragon. I don't know if this is the greatest thing for them to do right now, but they know there is no level 6 on Pantheon.
Yeah, no level 6 on Pantheon. Maxlor also not level 6. Very similar sort of jungle levels at this point. Got to remember that there was also 3 assists on Dan, so despite not getting the kills himself, there has still been a lot set up for his team, mainly from that reactionary dragon fight. And the longer we go on, Tundra having more of an impact in this top lane, just being more annoying. The CS, though, very similar at this point. We're not seeing that big CS discrepancy that we saw in the last game.
No, we are not. And actually, the only thing I can really say, the difference between kind of Vladimir and Maokai is Vladimir has to kill Maokai to stop him from TPing. Vladimir can get stopped by the Twisted Advance, so it's something that they need to be careful of where he's TPing, but most teams seem to know where to TP from. Shouldn't be a problem, but both TPs as well are up. You see now exactly where they're going.
Bot lane.
Here we go, here comes the Grand Skyfall, but here goes Maxlor. He knows exactly where everything is. He's going to try going on the standwise. TP comes in from both top laners. Chunky's the first one down, but it's Hado who goes down first. Dan's going to Crescendo, hits on top of Sir Scott, but they're still trying to go on top of it. No one is jumping on top of standwise. They're going to get down Tundra. He's the next one to go down. Maxlor trying to use his damage. Right at the arcane. It's just too far away though. Chunky going to keep going, but here comes Ramil. He's trying to try. He drops down the ignite. That was clever. Turns his run onto Bunny Fufu, or Billy Fufu, I should say. But here comes Chriso. They're trying to jump on top of him. They actually might have enough damage to go for this. They may try and do this. I don't know if he'll have enough damage with the Q. It's going to be close. He does have it. And that's going to be a nice turnaround. Great move there by Chris, though. He's reacting to Ramil this game. Good fight for FM.
Yeah, we didn't see it previously in the last game. Chriso was very static in that mid lane. Here we're going to see it again right here. Again, comes down. Grand Skyfall, really great on Hado. Billy Fufu had the opportunity to use an earlier crescendo, but didn't. Waited to save it. Wanted to lock up Sir Scott, and he does go down. A lot of damage coming out from Tundra too. However, maybe would have been an easier team fight with a big lockup from Billy. Questions have to be asked about when that crescendo was used, and we are going to see, obviously, Ramil picked up the kill there with the ignite, and you know what happened after that. Chriso with the snipe.
Yeah, and I think Chriso's kind of misplaying as some of these like range things, because he's not actually in range. He kind of just about gets it. As we see the dragon going down, it's going to be FM completely leaving it up. They are just not in position for this whatsoever. It was just Dan running around saying, "I know it's going down."
The length of that fight meant that the guys that went down early on the side of Rift had more time to react and get back at full health to the dragon. FM unfortunately had to back off after that, Samwise especially, because he was down a little bit later in the fight, and obviously Billy wanting to back, and they didn't have their cooldowns up either.
Yeah, and it's going to be very, very hard now for Maxlor, or sorry, not for Maxlor, for Dan to really do it, because every single time he's ganked, Maxlor's been there, and it's just completely twisted everything back in a different light. Now, I wouldn't necessarily back in their favor, as from that fight it did go in favor of FM, but Dan's got to be second-guessing himself, as we do see top lane. Dean taken down by Tundra. He's just going to keep farming. Yeah,
Tundra just going to keep going in this top lane, keep doing what Vladimir does, being that annoyance. He's going to be going towards what will be Will of the Ancients, does give him that spell vamp for himself, and obviously good amount of cooldown reduction coming out from that item too. Obviously he synergizes him. Oh, another hook comes down, and here we go. Billy Fuba, the first one to go down, but it's going to be Sir Scott getting absolutely decimated there by Dan, and it's going to be Hado trying to come in, but Maxlor is down here as well. He might try jump on Samwise. I'm not quite sure what they really want to go for. They may try go for something. I don't think they really can, but actually I like, because here comes Maxlor. He finally gets caught out. Valkyrie used almost immediately. He's going to use the ward jump, and I don't think there's anywhere for you to go right now, Samwise. Good play to stop him. It's going to be the Hado taking up that kill. He deserved it. He kept the bait going. And that's going to be another kill. Good rotations from Maxlor. Again, Maxlor where he needs to be this game. He's stepped up to the plate. The early pressure from him, the reactive jungling, making sure he's in position and predicting where Dan will be. Really great. Obviously, he missed out there, and it was such a fantastic hook from Hado, which meant that Billy went down to the burst of Graves. We talked about it. Graves has the potential to burst down Billy if the hook comes down. Again, though, FM still ever so slightly ahead, but you've got to look at where the gold's going on both teams right now. Samwise has got slightly less of an impact in terms of gold lead over Sir Scott. Sir Scott is very, very far ahead at this point.
Yeah, and actually it looks like they're going to try jump on top of him right now. It's actually Dan going to be the first one to find Maxlor as we see the top laners going head to head. Dan says, good luck to you now, Tundra. I am out right now. Ramil comes in as well. They're trying to first down Maxlor. Tundra, he dropped down now. He's the first one to go down. Chunky picks up that kill. And he's going to be able to take that one now. And
they're going for Hado.
They're going for Hado, actually. You're right. They're trying to see if they can get one. The Scuttlebug is the one that was actually blocking Billy Fufu from the hook. And they're able to pick up a return kill for that, but they will get top lane turret.
It was a good reaction play from FM and a very nice roam from Rift in the first place. Again, Dan was a bit apprehensive to go towards that gank, and unfortunately, Tundra was ever so close to getting the damage down to finish off Maxlor, just didn't have it in the bank. And that's a nice return turret here for Perilous Rift. They're first of the game. Top lane is where every structure is going down right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is something that Rift, we said it as well, they needed to get picks that turned into objectives, and that's what they needed to do. That's exactly the thing that they need to keep doing. Yes, they got a pick down bot lane for FM, but they didn't get anything from it, effectively from a lot of damage on top of that turret.
The kill for Samwise has closed the gold gap too. He was about 1,000 gold behind, but now has closed that to around 400. A little bit more back in the ballpark where he can look to contend on the level. He wants to get that Triforce fairly soon though, because Graves is ever so close to hitting his power spikes in the form of that Infinity Edge, and already has half of that static shift too.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult now. Sir Scott's going to hit a huge power spike, just like Corki. It's all really depending on who gets caught. And I've said this before, you know, pre-game and everything, that to the analysis, and analysts, I should say, they are such reactionary teams. They do great when someone aggresses on them, but they're not amazing when they aggress on other people, and that's just the way we've seen it through both these games so far.
Actually, FM, I thought they were fairly good aggressive in the first game, but you're seeing a more reactionary style of play this game. Something that we're a little bit more used to with FM. They actually have that longest closing game time. 40 minutes or so is their average game time from all the Four Nations games that they've played so far. Last game we saw them a little bit more aggressive as Christo looking to trade in the mid lane. He's actually doing okay as another ultimate coming down here.
Yeah, coming down in the bot lane, it's Dan against Sir Scott, able to keep him alive. It's a good hold on the Billy Fubu. Great shot, play as well. Hado is going to get away with just about enough. It's going to be a kill as well, going down to Hado. As we see there, Tundra trying to go with something here. He's going to get caught out. They did get the mid lane turrets. Christo tried to run down, but we're at the top lane now. It's 3v1. How long can he keep it going? Whoa, getting absolutely messed about the plays. Ramil's going to pick that one up, and they get another kill in the top lane, but Christo got the mid.
Yeah, Christo did get the mid. A bit of a return for FM, but not so much. You're going to see it here. Far too aggressive. They're just using their ultimates under tower, and Hado managed to flash away. And again, look at that hook. A double flay into collateral damage. Goodbye, Samwise. He was down for the count. Yeah,
and as we said, the Hado is just so good on Thresh. He doesn't bring it out that very often, but he's so, you must respect it right now. And this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what happened in the last game as well in the top lane. If we look at the CS, it's 1-4-1 in terms of kills against Tundra, yet he's about 20 CS ahead. He just doesn't lose lane in that sense. It's incredible.
He needs to keep it up right now because they need him to scale. They're not actually behind on gold at this point, and even not behind on dragons as the next one's coming up in 30 seconds. So they're not in a bad position right now, FM, even though everything looks to be going Rift's way in terms of these small skirmishes and engages. But they have the potential to work around and go for these objectives. Billy should have the crescendo up the next time it matters. So we really want to make sure Tundra is teleporting down, which he is.
Yeah, he's teleporting down. He actually just found about right down to beside Christo.
Yeah.
They're waiting for it. Rift are looking for a pick. There's no vision on this. They have got vision though on top of Christo, and there comes a hook. Doesn't really hit anybody.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow.
There it is. Everyone's going to jump in. The Hado gets absolutely bursted down. Graves is nowhere near this fight. Now he comes in. Sir Scott trying to do some more damage, but everyone's got good collateral damage takes down. At least to go down. Pantheon's gone down. The two junglers gone down now. Ramil trying to jump on top of Samwise. He will not be able to get the kill. No, yes he does. It's going to be Ramil running for his life. He needs to get away from Tundra and Billy Fufu. He flashes just in time, as we did see the Q coming out for Billy Fufu. It ends up being a 2-for-2. Both junglers go down though, so no one's going to take the dragon.
Again, FM managed to turn that in their favor. They technically came out on top. They managed to get a stun onto Hado. The hook does miss. This spells engagement time for FM. They managed to take him down there, and then suddenly Maxwell and Chunky are in no man's land. They're in the middle of a team fight with no backup. Sir Scott is there and manages to get the support in the form of that collateral damage. Samwise chooses to try and 1v1 the LeBlanc. Didn't work out for him, as you saw, but FM still playing well. They're still getting the better of team fights when they're going their way as Billy
Yeah, he gets caught out. Billy actually misses the crescendo and gets landed with a hook. That's a kill. And Vladimir went down as well. So while we were watching the replay, that is a huge swing and fight. Now they need to make an objective out of this. They need to get the dragon and possibly a turret.
This is good for Rift. They're making the picks when they need to make the picks. They're going to get this dragon. This is going to be their first dragon in the game. They're going to even it up, level the playing field with that 8% AD and AP. That's really, really good. Obviously, there was just, unfortunately, a Tundra getting taken out and Billy getting taken out meant that they just lost the pressure on that objective. And they're actually even going to get a lot of damage down onto this mid lane turret too. So, again, Rift looking like they're ahead. And the bot lane turret, wow.
There's a lot of objectives now going out for Rift. This is exactly what they need to do.
Big swing for Rift right now, and they've got to make sure they capitalize, because the later this goes, the less effective they're going to be versus a very, very late game team. You've got a Xerath, a Vladimir, obviously Pantheon becomes more of a stun bot the later you go on, maybe looking to tank up some damage, but oh, here we go though. Yeah,
here we go. Grand Skyfall, but no one's really around the place. Dan has not got his flash, so I don't know if you'll be able to get it. There it is. Ramil got caught out. They're going to use it. There! Christo gets the ultimate off. He's going to use the other two charges just to get a little bit of damage on Maxlor, but it was a great, great fight there. A great pickoff, but
they can't
take anything.
They can't get much from it, exactly. So you're seeing the reverse of what we saw last game. FM are looking to make stuff. Oh, Samwa's getting cooked in. FM are getting the picks, but not having the opportunity to take anything from it. You're seeing the reverse from Rift. They are the guys that are looking to capitalize on objectives of Tundra. Aggressive there.
Very aggressive, and some people say, you know, are you aggressively brave or aggressively stupid in that sense, because it didn't really do much for his team, and Chunky is still going around. They might just try and jump onto Tundra, try kill him off, but I know they don't want to be killing him just in case. There comes the kick. They're jumping on the Tundra, but why would you do that? He goes down straight away. There's no hook. They end up losing Maxlor as well. I'm thinking Tundra thinks he's further ahead than he is.
Again, a 1-for-1 trade isn't too bad. Maxlor just showing off some flashy plays from the Lee Sin right there. Tundra, again, being a little bit too far forward, hasn't actually finished that Spirit Visage up yet, so it's not getting the full effect of the healing benefit that provides. He needs to go back and do what he does best, get some gold behind it in the form of farm.
Oh, that's very good. They get the tower, but it was a great crescendo on top of the two carries. They're turning it right around, though. Pantheon goes down. Dan is the first target. Sir Scott is completely 100% still in this fight. He's trying to jump on Christo. He flashed in, but Christo flashed away. It's a shutdown. Samwise is not done. Forces the flash away from the Hado. Ramil trying to jump back on top of Xerath. I don't think he's going to get anything, though. Christo still staying back by his turret. I don't think he's that silly.
These guys' fakes are crazy. There's so much going on right now. Oh, wow.
Nearly. Ramil got his dancing shoes back on just at the nick of time, but I don't think he's going to be able to get away from Samwise. Samwise is hunting him down on that Rafflecopter. He's trying to get away. Will he be able to get something from this? No, he won't. And he's going to get another kill on the Samwise. He shouldn't have been so greedy, Ramil. He tried to stick around. He should have just went back.
I do love that you know that the Rafflecopter is that the
yes,
helicopter.
I do.
As we see the replay coming out here, this is under that turret. A really nice crescendo from Billy Fufu there, and an immediate follow-up from Dan. Actually, Chunky managing to escape there because Hado being so aggressive on the front line. Sir Scott is in no man's land right now, really thinking he can do the damage to Christo before he goes down. But Christo is 5-0-6. We haven't talked about him as much this game. He's still that big threat on the backline.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was probably the one of the rare moments where Sir Scott is completely out of position. I think he realized it as well. He turned around and said, well, I'm going to die anyway, and just went straight in. Burned the flash, so not too bad for him. Christo has very few mistakes, escapes to get away from, you know, a Maxlor or the Chunky from Maokai. So it's not too bad.
Sets them up.
Sets them up nicely. But again, FM are literally doing what Rift did in the last game. They make picks, they get objectives. They make picks, they don't get objectives, and it's just not helping them realistically in the overall scape of the game.
Still looking very even across the board, though. FM behind on a turret, but even on gold. I think Dragons are 1-1 at this point, so there might even be 2 actually to Rift.
Nearly 2,000 gold though on top of Graves, ahead of Samwise's Corki. Yeah. That's a lot of damage. He's got the IE, he's got the static shiv. His burst is pretty damn big right now.
Yeah, and also again, sorry, it's two dragons to Rift instead of 1-1 apiece. So Rift have that impetus now to go and secure more dragons. When you get to that 3rd dragon, you've really got to be wary about the game snowballing just from these really awesome dragon buffs. Obviously that 3rd one provides you with the movement speed. That in itself is really great, but then it opens the doors to those really big late game dragon buffs in the form of that structure damage, 15% structure damage. You can start to take those towers down with ease, and then as soon as you get that, there's the worry of the 5th dragon, and you don't want to even get to a stage where that's becoming a factor for you to deal with.
Yeah, and See FM trying to clear around the vision around Dragon, but they're pretty damn early right now, so they don't really think they're going to get much from it. I imagine Max Lore will go back down there with the Hado and just get the vision away from them again. So, and this is something we've seen at quite a bit of teams. They kind of get early vision, and Chriso gets jumped on, shut down as well. Everyone just jumped on top of him. Tundra gets flashed, engaged on by Chunky. He's trying to jump on top of everybody, but it's not going to be enough. He drops down the Chemo Plague. It's a double kill on the Sir Scott. They don't even need the Dragon in a minute. They're going to go straight towards that mid lane that should be an inner turret in the mid lane.
Chriso just got annihilated right there. The flash kick from Max Lore. Really great animation flashing as well to get that beautiful Lee Sin kick off into a burst of damage coming out from Rift. And actually a lot of counter siege coming out from the FM lineup. They're doing their best to make sure that this turret doesn't go down, but Dragon up in 30 seconds, FM are going to have to be quick to react, otherwise they're going to lose yet another one. Yeah,
they really do, and as I said, they did get the vision control, and then they lost it again, so it's not really huge. Just so the spectators, we have got a little bit of spectator bug around Chunky. He does look like he's just got this whirlpool around him. There's a little bit of spectator bug, but we'll try and see, try and cast beyond that. They're just waiting around. I don't really think they know about this Dragon, or this ward, or just around it, as Dragon does begin to spawn. LeBlanc Ramil just went back, so she needs to get her mobility boots on despite not having them and get into this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, exactly. But there is a lot of pressure from Rift right now because there is a lack of vision from the side of FM. Now is when they're just starting to ramp up and put their stake. No LeBlanc here right now. There's a bit of a grace period where they can look to try and get some damage down, but I don't think they know that LeBlanc is backed.
No, they don't think they saw it. I think that she's waiting for a flank or something like that, as we see Chunky getting a little bit aggressive, putting in those saplings. Might actually see Sir Scott going for that mid lane. They might just trade the inner turret, and it actually looks like they are going to go for that. Don't really know if FM know what they really want to do. They're kind of going for Dragon, they're kind of defending mid, and it looks like they're going to try to go for it now. They're going to be able to chunk this down, but we might see a team fight coming in now. As we see the Hado going in, he gets a hook onto it. Dragon is going down in the background. Hado did go down. Crescendo did go perfectly on top of two carries. That's a great ride of the Arcane as well. Tundra stays just alive, not quite though. He goes down, Sarah goes down. Everyone, it's just getting so long. Chunky is on the back line, but I don't think he's going to be able to kill anyone, as there's a lot of sustain from Billy Fufu. I will eventually get that name right. Chunky's going to be left for Billy Fufu to deal with. Don't know if he'll be able to get away. Sir Scott running for his life. He's on very low health. Here comes the Grand Skyfall. He's not going to be able to get away. Dan says, you try to kill me, I'll return the favor. And they get a great engage.
I feel for you, Blood Penguin, because that was a crazy fight right there. There was so much going on. We'll see it right now. They have committed to the Dragon at this point. Dan is in the back line. He can't do much as Chunky looks to exploit the fact that the Dragon would be on his side. The great crescendo from Billy. It was so good. Right to the Arcane did the damage too. And again, Tundra forced out of the fight. And that kick and collateral damage combo right there was absolutely fantastic. But all in all, when you look at it back, FM came out on top.
Yeah, and I think that even though it was a fantastic looking kick collateral damage combo, it was on Tundra.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't on Corki or Samwise's Corki. It wasn't on Chriso. It wasn't on the two people who you really want to kill, and it just didn't work out.
This is what Tundra does on the Vladimir, though. He forces you to deal with him because he is a damage threat, because he is in your backlines doing your damages. He needs to have those kind of things put onto him so he's dealt with, and that's how he likes to play this Vladimir. Aggressive, 1v5, forced to deal with, and you're seeing that from him. But they did manage to, I believe they managed to get a Dragon, so that is a Dragon for FM. And it actually, oh, Max Lore, you need to be careful, buddy.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. Drops down a ward very nicely, and everyone's kind of coming in for this red buff right now. Don't know if this is the biggest objective you want to be wasting your life for. He jumps into 5 people. Crescendo only hits on top of one. Max Lore gets completely burst down. Collateral damage does not really do anything. Chunky kind of coming in, but he's a bit late. LeBlanc goes down as well. Here comes Dan on the backside.
Oh, the right of the Arcane.
Oh my God, Chriso and Samwise completely untouched. Corki, you are going to be, or not Corki, Chunky, you are going to be the next sacrificial lamb. Here comes the Grand Skyfall. It's going to jump onto Sir Scott. He's not going to be anyone. It's a clean ace for FM as they start to turn up the heat.
Where did that come from? Where did that come from?
All over red buff.
They've been even the entire time, and suddenly FM pull it out of the bag, and they're going to go for Baron too. That was crazy. That was just so good from the FN lineup. And you saw Ramil try to get on Chriso in the backline. He had a free amount of time. He was the only one there. But Chriso's reactions were just so good. Shocking Orb came down, and he took him down too. But there you go. Baron Nashor over to FM, and what looks like Rift in the running. FM have just shut them down.
Absolutely, and Was it really worth jumping into 5 people that look for a red buff, Maxlor? You have to ask yourself as they just turn around and start using that red Baron buff, which works out perfectly for Tundra, as he's going to be split pushing all day. He's going to be the one up in that top lane with the extra minion damage. And I just don't understand where he had vision. He knew where they were.
He was looking for an amazing 5-person cut kick. Maxlor has done this before. He knows it has it in him. He looked for that kick. It didn't come off because immediately Dan was on top of him with the stun, and then he went down. And of course, Samwise in the backline, Chriso in the backline, they tried to get enough damage down, but Chriso's reactions out of this world. And Ramil again struggling on LeBlanc. He's really struggling to make an impact on the outside of these fights.
He really, really is. And Maxlor, his effectiveness in terms of damage is really starting to struggle. He's 5, 6, and 13, so he's been definitely more involved. But it's not really helping him out in that sense. He pops the red trinket even though there was a pink ward there, so a little bit of silliness going on as well. But as we see now, FM starting to siege up, and honestly, I really feel like they don't even need 5 people. They only need 3. They need to put Tundra into a different lane.
Yeah, well, to be honest, Tundra at this point is actually a fairly large threat. Once he finishes up, either when he may be going towards a Void Staff and obviously the Seekers into a Zhonya's, the guy can 1v5 at that point because he can just be such a threat that he's doing enough sustained damage along with the Human Plague to make sure that he has to be dealt with. And there's a limited amount of cooldowns that you can utilize on the side of Rift to deal with someone who's aggressive like Tundra. It's really only the kick. And if you use the kick on Tundra, as Dan gets hooked in here.
Dan gets hooked in, they're trying to go in, Crescendo only lands on the Haddo, Ramil gets stunned up though. They end up taking down Dan, Ramil is the target. They're still trying to jump on the Tundra, he goes down as well. Right of the Arcane comes out, it's not going to hit anybody. Now Ramil goes down, so does the Haddo. They jump on the Samwise, they maybe take him up. They completely turn around that fight. Great move there, forcing the flash as well from Zerat. And they're able to get a triple kill. Sir Scott not even touched in that entire fight. Amazing engage by the Rift.
Swings and roundabouts right here, and Rift have just suddenly got the better of it. They, unfortunately for FM, had Dan hooked in very, very early. Billy was so aggressive too. We're going to see it here. Tundra on the front line, but Dan is the one that gets hooked, and immediately Chunky's into the back line. Billy only hits one person, which is the support with that Crescendo. Tundra is trying to do his work, but they have the stuff to deal with him at this point. Billy then gets hooked in again, and it's still Sir Scott on the back line, and Samwise, unfortunately, he was stuck between a tree and a very, very angry Lee Sin, and he went down at the end too.
Yeah, it was a fantastic, and let's not count out Ramil there. He did an amazing job. He baited out, he did effectively what you do as Twisted Fate when you Destiny. You jump in, bait out all these abilities and just Zhonya's instantly, but he just kept jumping in, out, keeping himself alive and as much of a threat as he possibly can to keep him in the life. But I want to make a quick note to the unspoken carry of Billy Fufu, who has had 100 kill participation in this entire game for his team.
Living up to his name with that previous kill participation of about 70-odd%, this guy is a big, big game impact for his team. It looks like the next Dragon is going to be a focus for FM. They need to make sure next round that no one is getting hooked. They will need to be the ones to organize the engage. It seems right now that the team that gets the jump on the engage is getting the jump on the team fight, and that's how they're starting to win this out. If you get your key targets like Dan being locked up by a hook early on, he's not going to have the potential to do anything.
Here we go now, they're trying to jump in. They actually started out the Dragon very early. FM, here comes Chunky, he's trying to go in. Tundra goes in, it's a great shot. Crescendo though on the back line, they stop everybody. Nobody's going down though. It's going to be eventually, it's going to be LeBlanc going down, but Tundra did go down. Sir Scott is able to still do so much damage. Chriso and Samwise are still there as artillery cannons throwing everything out. And here comes Samwise for the Samwise! He tries to go in. I don't know if he has enough damage to keep going. Sir Scott trying to do as much down. He gets shut down though by Chriso. They end up trading 3 for 1. And FM take the Dragon win and more. Whoa! That looked a bit buggy, but nonetheless he didn't get the kill, misjudged the Q slightly, and are not going to be able to contest this Dragon. There is a Pantheon, so he should be able to smite it away with his smite. Completely lost my head there. Such a crazy game, but FM starting to turn it up again. They're just under 7,000 gold ahead. They really, really want to win this game.
So I often forget some of the name spells too. Don't worry about it, buddy. No, but anyway, that was all really down to FM getting the engage that they wanted. It was so forced from Rift. They didn't start it off with a hook. They didn't isolate a target that they could take down immediately. And unfortunately, it just went into a cluster of 5 people. Once you have FM in that position and everyone is free to do what they want, you have Tundra that goes aggressive, and then obviously no one being locked up, and all of their spells can be utilized. Dan can get the stun downs. Crescendo was perfect that fight, and all of that was just, I feel like if Billy hits multiple targets with that Crescendo, FM usually roll this team fight through.
Chunky First of all, I just noticed it. Yeah, I just noticed Chunky's item build. He's gone with a second Locket of the Iron Solari, but he jumped in with a flash, and then everyone was kind of like, where's the engage? Yeah. Nothing happened, and then he was just, it's kind of like, okay, well then Tundra can jump at the back line, and they just got so much more damage.
There was no immediate follow-up. He was so far ahead of his team at that point. Oh, Samwise, though, you need to be careful.
Samwise needs to be careful. He's already used Valkyrie, and he's going to end up going down, though. Or will he? He may take someone with him. Everybody's come for the party, though, and here comes right the arcane. There's one. Not going to hit two, not going to hit three. You only get 1 out of 3 in your quiz. You have to go back to base and try get some more items. But it does stop the siege a little bit. It slows down FM, as Samwise is a huge part of their comp.
Yeah, FM needs to be careful. I feel like Samwise has had this happen to him a lot across the 2 games, and you're seeing that reflected in his KDA at this point. Loads of assists, but quite a high number of deaths for a fairly key target. He wants to keep himself fairly safe, but got to give it to Chriso. The guy is having a fantastic game again at 10, 2, and 14, picking up loads of key items at this point. Interestingly, he's picked up a needlessly large and a blasting wand. Now, I'm assuming he's going to pick up a Zhonya's from that needlessly large rod.
And possibly an Abyssal Scepter? Maybe?
Maybe, but he's probably not close enough to make utility of that. We'll have to see where he does opt to go with that build, though.
I think an Abyssal Scepter would work more so on Vladimir, purely for the fact that you would obviously get the double flat magic penetration. Everyone gets the reduced magic resistance on the side of Rift. But if he goes... oh, no, there's a Zhonya's. Okay, we can calm down now. It's a Zhonya's. Slight panic as well, but I really feel like Chunky is not making efficient item slot choices. This double Locket of the Iron Solari yes, it stacks on the 2 Locket people, but that's it.
Well, people have talked about it. The double Locket of the Iron Solari can sometimes work out. You get the double shield if you use it at the right time and things like that. An immediate reaction onto Baron here. Pings are coming down thick and fast. That's a really early ultimate.
That's a really early ultimate from Dan, but he knows he has the backup. He may get caught out, though. He will be the first one to go down. There is no jungler now for... Crescendo! What was that? Billy Fufu just jumps the gun far too quickly, and here comes Chunky for the re-engage. They jump on the Crystal. That's exactly who they want to come on. Samwise is still on the back line. They're trying to do so much more. He flashes away. Everything going on. Chunky still trying to do so much more damage. Sir Scott and Ramil are on the back line. Everyone's going to go. Chunky does go down. They end up turning it around in favor of themselves. They just kept themselves far away.
There was one key moment where Hado had the opportunity to win that team fight with a hook onto the Zhonya's, and he missed it. He mistimed it, and it was such a clutch moment right there. If he'd picked that up, it could have gone well in favor of Rift. You're going to see it right now. Chriso immediately Zhonya's, and look, Hado is waiting. He's waiting for the wind-up, and he mistimes it, and the flash out immediately gives FM the jump here. Once Chriso is safe on the back line, there's nothing they can do. He's doing the same thing he does all the time. And again, so difficult to make it, and so difficult in the heat of the moment, but that's what separates really great Thresh players from, you know.
Split-second decisions are literally what cost Rift that fight, and this is exactly what I'm saying. Those little things stack up to what become either a win or a loss, and they're going for it again. And actually, this is a perfect opportunity because Zerat's going back. They have no idea that they're doing this again. This is actually desperation play, but perfect desperation play. Billy's coming in. Maxlor, he gets caught up. They push him in. Billy Fufu, here comes the teleport. Here comes the Grand Skyfall. They kill off Billy Fufu, but here comes Samwise. He gets stripped up by Ramo, but it's not going to be enough. They get down on the backside.
Ultra, he's killed him.
Maxwell did go down. They're trying to see if they can still go on top of this. Graves is not really, or Chunky's not in this fight. There comes the collateral damage, but here comes Chunky along the backside. They're trying to see if they can get some. What a great move over the side. He dashes over. They get another kill. It's going to be Dan going down, and it's going to be the only person left is Tundra and Chriso. Only people left, I should say. Chriso wasn't in that fight. He went back far too late. Rift do not get Baron, though, but they do pick up a couple of kills.
What is going on? What is going on right now? This obviously was a perfect opportunity for Rift to go for it, but an immediate reaction coming out from the FM side. Great ultimate from Dan, and Tundra is at that point where he can just sit on your team and do damage. Unfortunately, they don't get the damage onto Sir Scott, and the immediate reaction of the wall. Samwise again going aggressive here. The collateral damage hitting really sets it up for Sir Scott, and the singular crit and collapse onto Dan. The only benefit you can take from this is they stopped the Baron.
Yes, and one thing that will be FM, yes, they lost that fight. They lost a couple of kills, but Samwise wasn't bursted down by the LeBlanc. Samwise was very much winning that fight. Ramiel had to run away. So that's a huge thing. When you think the assassin, like the assassin mid laner, isn't able to burst down the AD carry and then actually getting completely turned around, that's a huge mental boost for FM.
I'm wondering if Christo's going to go for a Ryalize final to try and look to control team fights with the Kano Pulse, look to slow members down and make sure he can get a little bit more control as they go in onto this fight here.
Yeah, they're trying to jump on top of it. It's a bit scattered about. Samwise using his Valkyrie already. They're trying to jump on a Chunky. Chunky just keeping himself sustained and alive. Tundra coming in from the backside, but he's taking so much damage. Already used the Chemo Plague, so that's going to be down as well. And we have so many wards there. Look at the amount of wards there, just in that little section. Here comes the hands on the Hado, though. It's not the person you really want to be getting. They're trying to jump on the Sir Scott. He ends up getting a kill. Ramil goes down as well, but it is Tundra and Christo are still very, very low. They need to respect Samwise's damage. The hook misses. It lands on the Chunky with the stun. There's the damage. It doesn't do enough. He's trying to get some more crits out. The big one misses, and it's going to be turned around again. It's a 2-for-1 at the moment in favor of FM. They may get this dragon as well. This will be their third dragon of the game for their team.
The smite still is there.
The smite still is very much real. There's the hook as well onto Billy Fufu. They're just going to put down a little bit of damage. Q lands on top of Tundra. This is so tense that they lose it. They can't juggle. I don't think they can really go for this realistically. They don't want to end up losing the dragon and possibly losing another buff. But everyone from Perilous Rift is backing off. They should be able to pick this up.
Max Law knew that, unfortunately, yeah, they're losing a lot of pressure in the top lane. Max Law knew that he was probably too low to go for the steal because FM would immediately react and take him down. This is so crazy. These team fights are so back and forth, and you can just see how close these guys are, how much they want to make it to the final. And again, it looks like Rift trying to make another Baron play. Hasn't worked out well for you so far, guys, but you might get the jump on this one.
They might get it. Actually, has worked out well in the sense that they've gotten kills.
Yeah.
But here they go. Samwise is going to be the one coming over. The hook might come out. I'm very surprised it hasn't come out. They dodge it out. They now have vision.
He's going for the steal.
Oh, it's going to be the steal. It's going to be Star. He gets the steal. Dan is able to sacrifice his life for the benefit of the team. He gets the steal. FM will pat him on the back. Probably at the moment, but they are looking so solemn in their own team boots. But that was insane play. That could be the game. That could be the game-changing steal.
That was so incredible. RIP headphone users, I'm so sorry. But that was so crazy right there. And amazing, amazing steal from Dan. He timed that so perfectly to come down and get the smite. We have not seen action like this in Four Nations yet, and it is living up to the hype right now.
It really, really is, and this is where now FM need to turn on the pressure. Chunky could be caught out a little bit. He's a tanky man, but he's not that tanky. They are going to be able to turn out. Tundra actually took a lot of damage. It wasn't for the sustain, I'd be a little bit afraid for his life. They may just try jumping on him. That crit, though, one auto attack, and he's able to take down Havo. Chunky's being jumped on. Collateral damage too. They're trying to jump on Samwise. There's the crescendo. They may be able to get Samwise. That's the kill. They're trying to jump back on it. Tundra used Sonya's. They're still jumping on the back line. Nobody's jumping on Crystal, but Crystal's not doing anything either. The hook misses. Max Lore able to keep going. He may get the hook or may get the Q. I don't think they really want to go back on the Christo. And that Baron steal that Dan worked his and so hard to get has been completely and utterly squandered by FM.
They just look to go aggressive with 4 members against a 5-member Rift. It doesn't matter if you've got the Baron right now. You need to make sure you're consolidating on numbers as well.
Look at the locket timers. They were literally popped at the exact same time for both Maokai and Lisa. So
you're going to see it's Max Law that wins this fight right here with another fantastic kick onto Samwise. Look at it right there. So great. And he is immediately taken down by Sir Scott. And Tundra obviously can't essentially 1v5 that well. And Billy obviously going to escape. You saw it later. But again, Max Law keeping his team in it with these fantastic kicks.
26 assists on Max Lore's Lee Sin. He's only beaten on his team by Thresh. This is insane. Now, obviously, Billy Fufu still has 100% kill participation for his team. Still maintaining it despite these crazy, crazy amount of kills. It is 4 turrets to 4. It is 68.9 or 68.8k to 74.3k. FM are ahead and well ahead at this stage as well. And there's only 2 kills in the difference. Maybe a dragon as well, but this is insane from Rift. They are pulling out all the stops. They need this game.
It's getting later and later, and FM are going to have more of the control in their team fights with their composition. They're all about very high late game damage here. They're going to really be relying on Max Law to make more and more of those plays. He needs to be doing that every single time. It's Samwise
gets jumped by a real. Max Law only gets hit by the crescendo. He's able to jump away. They burn the teleport as well. Here they go. Max Law trying to get jumped away. He dodges out. They're able to sustain. That's a lot of big cooldowns down. Blown for FM. Great bait by Ramil. He's able to blow a lot of their cooldowns, but they have to go back to base and they need to be able to defend.
If they can immediately react here and go for this, it should be a turret, but Max Law already back at base now, could have the home guards on board. Immediately going to be rejoining the fight very, very quickly. FM need to be careful right now, but Ramil taken low.
Yeah, Ramil taking low. Trundra taking low as well. They land the Q. Oh, the collateral damage just not enough though. They are going to force FM back as well. And this game is just getting so much more. We are at nearly 43 minutes. We are nowhere in sight. Honestly, I'm very, very underwhelmed at the moment by Tundra's Vladimir. It's not doing what he needs to be doing. As we see in Engage, it's going to be Dan trying to jump in. Everybody's going to go. Chunky comes in as well. So it's been done. Sarah, this is the first one to go down. They're going to be able to take out Samwise, or Samwise going to take down Graves and Tress are still going though. It's going to be complete turnaround by FM. They're going to jump on a Chunky. He flashes over. Ramil was not part of it, but he may be able to get Samwise. Oh, the spun on with the crescendo was kept this entire fight. Samwise able to keep alive long enough to take the kill on the Chunky. They should be able to get an inhibitor, if not the game, but both side lanes are pushing in favor of Rift.
Samwise must be wearing his lucky underwear right now because he should have died right there. He was so very lucky to get out of this. There's a lot of time on the board for FM to win this game. They have a lot of damage on their side.
They can win. They're going to go for it.
They're going to go for it.
They are absolutely going to go for this. Tundra going to be able to tank up one of these two towers. They are actually 100%. Ramil gets jump on. It's going to be a kill. There's the ace. Sona picking up that one, keeping his 100% kill participation. That's going to be FM taking the Nexus turrets. That's going to be them taking this series 2-0. An amazing end to an amazing series. Congratulations to FM.
Wow, congratulations to FM indeed. I'm going to say we will be going over for an interview fairly soon, but the analyst guys have got a job to deal with here. They've got so much to deal with because so much happened in that game. I cannot even begin to start to pick that apart. Hopefully not my job. But really, again, Chriso had a fantastic game on that Xerath. And Tundra, despite not having quite the impact we thought he would, he was still going to scale into that late game as a Vladimir. And really, I've got to give it to Dan again. A lot of clutch plays that really turned this around for FM. And really, to be honest, the backline as well, Samwise on Corki, Billy Fufu on Sona. I think Billy Fufu may have even ran with a complete 100% kill participation.
He did.
Throughout the entire game. And he was on probably his best support champion. It was first picked. They knew what they were doing. They wanted that Sona, and it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. He missed a couple of key crescendos, and you saw Rift were turning that game around. And the 2-0 really doesn't do justice to Rift. They played a fantastic game. And I just can't believe that was an amazing series, and congratulations to FM. Commiserations though to Rift. They are knocked out. They don't really, this is the end of their season for them. FM will go through to the final to face off against Choke tomorrow in that best of 5. They need to sort out Samwise in a sense that he kept getting caught, and that was a huge thing. But we are just about ready to jump over to Yuka and the FM roster team. I think it's one player. I'm not quite sure exactly who, but we're going to jump it over to